Good morning. This morning I am going to post my discussion about my research that I've been working on this term, which I became very interested in early on, during the first week actually. And what brought me to it was because for the last several years, especially during my master's program, and now I'm going to try and continue it during my PhD program, was I have an affinity for women's history and what their role was within history. So during the first week, we started learning about the Puritan and Quaker religions, and I became instantly interested in what the women were doing during this time. And what I had rolling around in my head for the entire week was the names that we always know when we're talking about women's movements and strong women who have made an impact or changed the world per se, like Elizabeth Cady Stanton, Lucretia Mott, Susan B. Anthony, the Seneca Falls Convention that took place in July of 1848, which was actually the first actual women's movement, women's rights convention, and pushed forward the women's movement. Now, I say those names, and we all know those names. I mean, I grew up learning those names. And so during the first and second weeks of class, I started learning the names Anne Hutchinson, Mary Dyer, Sarah Wheaton Osborne. And then I learned a new one just this last week through Professor Schultz, who gave me a really good recommendation to look at. These are women that I was not familiar with. I had never heard their names before. I did not know who they were. But come to find out, during the First Great Awakening, these women were actually activists. They were putting themselves into positions where they felt they had a right to be doing more than what they were allowed to be doing. They had a voice and they wanted to use it. They wanted to preach the word and speak truths, whether it be in a group setting, outside of their home, in the yard, on a street corner. It didn't matter. They had something to say, and against what the law was, these women pushed forward and spoke. And my research that I'm working on and still working to put the final touches together for this weekend, I am arguing that the first feminist movement, or the women's feminist movement, did not start in 1848 or the 1900s like many of us have learned, but actually the women's movement and the feminist movement actually started during the First Great Awakening in the 1730s, with this group of women who believed they had a right to speak and to preach and to spread the word and to spread their experience. And during these revivals, we learned that yes, they could influence people. They could use what they had learned and what they had listened and read, and they could teach others their beliefs and influence them, not necessarily change their opinion, but influence them and push them during the Great Awakening in ways that women hadn't done before. They were not allowed to speak in public, especially about religion or preaching or biblical sayings or anything. They could do it in their home with their children, but they could not do it outside of their home. So this research has been really interesting for me. I've really enjoyed it. And so again, I'm working on putting together the start of the actual feminist movement was during the First Great Awakening in the 1730s. Thank you.